What it do, YouTube? I have a little bit of a fun episode for today. I was kind of racking my brain to think of what I would do next after my Valentine's Day episode, which a lot of people received pretty well. I'm glad that a lot of people enjoyed it. Of course, first off, if you're here watching this on YouTube, please go like and subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you anything, helps me out. Wonderful. Do that. So today, if you've already seen the title, then it might be a little confusing. But what I wanted to do today was just a little fun conversation, just about like pros and cons of certain aspects of life. And what I did was I broke it down into like three main parts. So, stages of life, mostly dealing with like age and like certain like points in everyone's life. Of course, there's only so high I can go because of my age, but I wanted to break it down to where almost everyone could relate to what I'm going to basically break down. So stages of life, love, and sports. Three very reoccurring themes, not only within my life, but things that I like to talk about. So I kind of broke them down, the three main categories, and then each category has like little subcategories. And what happens is I'm going to give that subcategory, and then I'm gonna give the highest of highs, like the best thing about that specific category, subcategory, and the lowest, the worst thing about that specific category. And then I'm gonna talk a little bit about the in-betweens, like, things that I either kind of like have a love-hate relationship with, or things that I just wasn't as passionate about that involved that specific subcategory. So, of course, if you know me, without getting too much further into the video, I have to open the wine. Now, most of you know that my favorite brand is Josh. So I've never seen this specific brand or this specific wine before. This is Sea Swift. Josh Sea Swift. It is a white wine, and then when I looked at it, it said Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Grigio, and I was like, and? So I looked at it, and it's a white blend. It is a white blend. I've never had a white blend, period. And it's Josh. So I looked at it and I was like, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna try this wine that I've never had before. So let's crack it open. And of course, once I fill my glass, hold up. Little ASMR. All right, so now that that's done, let's get started, shall we? It is very citrusy. I actually like that. I wasn't expecting it to be sweet, and I mean, it's not. It's a little on the drier side, but that's actually pretty good. All right, so once again, I have my notebook. I always have my notebook so that I can stay on topic and not go off the rails ranting or babbling about random stuff. So highs and lows. So like I said, the main category I'm starting with is stages of life. I have them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subcategories that I feel like most people will be able to relate to these with me. Mind you, I wrote these subcategories and categories beforehand, but I did not think of a pro and con beforehand, so I'm kind of coming off the dome with these, so bear with me if it takes me a minute to think of what I would answer. So stages of life, the first stage is under 5 years old, or like 5 and under. Honestly, I think that the best thing about this is that your parents do everything for you. So as a 5-year-old and under, as a 5 and under year old, you don't know anything. You're just a little baby toddler wandering around the world with big, wandering and imaginative eyes and brains, and not a clue as to what's going on around you. And knowing that, of course, as long as you were in somewhat of an established household, I mean, everything was taken care of for you, you know? You didn't have to fend for yourself, get your own food, your own snacks, pay for nothing. Like, that's like literally the best thing about being 5 and under is that just everything gets taken care of for you. Absolutely everything. The worst thing about under 5, I feel like the worst thing, low key, is I think the worst thing is like a lack of. I'm trying to think because there's a couple of things that come to mind, like being 5 and under, you have no freedom. Like you have like just like your parents do everything for you, you can't do anything without them. Like there's and like not to say that like there's 5-year-olds over like sitting here trying to like drive themselves somewhere or like have that kind of cognitive ability to want to do those things without their parents. I would say for me personally, the worst thing about that age, I would say, is the lack of memories. For me personally, now I do remember a lot. I do have quite a few memories that I remember vividly of when I was, 5 years old or younger. I think my earliest memory was I was like 2 years old. And then the earliest memory that I can remember for sure is 2 years old. And then I have a couple of memories sprinkled throughout my very, very young toddler years. And I wish I could remember more because I feel like there was a lot of very nice, memorable moments that I had as, growing up as a toddler, as a little kid. And I might not be able to remember a lot of those things. So I would say, yeah. So best thing, your parents do everything for you. The worst thing, you don't remember much. The second category is grade school. So I would say just basically from like the time you're 5 to the time you're 10. I would say the best thing about grade school is that it's the easiest level of education you will ever get. It's the easiest level of education. I don't think I've ever even close to struggled in grade school, even fifth grade, like right when you're about to enter middle school. Like, man, it was just a breeze. Like, it was easy. I never studied. Homework was simple. Even for the subjects that I later found out I was not all that great in. But yeah, grade school, the best thing was easiest school in your life. The con of grade school. Oh, that's the biggest con of grade school. Biggest con of grade school is you're starting to get older and getting into the mindset of wanting to do things without your parents and not being able to. Like, when you're under 5, you want to do everything with your parents, and your parents set up everything. And I think that I don't think there's many 5-year-olds that I ever hear like, oh, I'm tired of being around my dad or trying to be around my mom, like, or, I just want to do things myself. No. Grade school, that's when I started to get like that. We're like, oh, I want to go out with my friends, like away from y'all. I want to do my own thing. I did that a lot more with my dad. My dad was more so that like, scour the neighborhood, go out with your friends, go and knock on some doors, figure out what y'all trying to do, ride bikes around. But, that was when, like, at the end of grade school, that's when I was like 10. Now, when I was with my mom, I guess it was a little bit of a different story. Like, she still let me do things, but it just wasn't as much freedom as I wanted to have, per se, because I did want to do a lot of things on my own. Now, getting to middle school, I would say the worst thing about the middle school age, so I would say like between the ages of like 11 and 13, pushing 14, that's I'm actually start with the con, because the con came up in my mind immediately. Middle school is the most awkward and it's the most awkward and uncomfortable stage in your adolescence, in my personal opinion. What I went through and what I witnessed, and what's crazy is some people peak in middle school. That's just it. Some people peak in middle school. My lowest, I was on, like, my confidence and my abilities were like rock bottom in middle school. Also, that was when I like was chubby, so I don't think that helped a lot. But middle school, the con was it was the most awkward and worst school experience, just all around. And of course, like you start to go through puberty, things change. You gotta switch up routines because. And what's funny is someone looked at me sideways when I said this, and I was like, everyone had that point in life where they were either smelling bad, their hygiene wasn't all that great, and they got called out. And then people looked at me like, ew, what? No. Come on now. We weren't putting on deodorant as babies. We weren't lotioning ourselves, constantly brushing our teeth at 2 times a day as like out the womb. So there was at one point, your either parent, a friend, someone that you had a crush on, something happened where something was brought to your attention that, hey, this ain't working. And then you're like, oh, snap, I need to change stuff up. Like for me, it was when I was like, 12? I was either 12 or 13. No, I think it was 13. 13, and mind you, I, just like anyone, I was not putting on deodorant out the womb. And then I did put deodorant on when I like went to school or went out. But if I stayed home and I was like home and not doing anything, I didn't put it on because I thought I didn't need it. So one day my dad came in my room and he's like, oh, Lord, it stinks in here. And I was like, what are you talking about? It doesn't. He was like, bro, you're nose blind. It stinks in here. Lo and behold, I think that day some family friends came over. We went out, was out for the entire day and came back in. I came back in and I smelled what he smelled. And I said, oh, so this is what you noticed. And sorry to say, a lot of people become nose blind to their own scents because they're so used to it. Even if it's a good scent, like sometimes you just get so used to it and it's so repetitive that you don't even notice it no more. And the people that notice it are the ones on the outside that don't experience it a lot. So that was my moment. And that's when I started like kind of changing my hygienic regime and got to where I am today. Because like now, as an adult, I take almost an average of 2 showers a day. Like I've never gone 24 hours without a shower. As an adult. No, I lied because I've been on some road trips and stuff like that. But if I can help it, I've never gone 24 hours without a shower. Deodorant all the time. Even if I'm by myself, I can't stand any type of like mustiness. Because like if I get a hint of it, and I have a very good like nose, if I get a hint of it, I'm immediately putting deodorant on, extra deodorant on. So middle school, the highlight of middle school, I would say the best thing about middle school is that is the time in life where you start to learn, about yourself. I guess kind of piggybacking off of what I just said, but like not just in like a hygienic sense, but like you start to learn the things that you like, whether it comes to like, liking, girls or liking sports or, because middle school, I think, was the age where I really started to crack down on like the things that I actually am passionate about and love. So that was the best thing about middle school. It was a very awkward moment, very awkward stage of life. However, the good thing was I started to like get a knack for the things that I liked and enjoyed when it just came to the everyday thing. The next subcategory is high school, the high school years. The best thing about high school years, I think, is everything you were wanting in middle school, especially when it comes to sports, dating, hobbies, doing things on your own, getting a license, being able to drive. I think the best thing about high school is your taste of adulthood. That taste of adulthood is very addicting. And of course, we don't get warned a lot of the times of the dangers of adulthood. We just kind of like get, like I said, the taste of, and some people, I didn't personally have a job in high school, but some people start getting jobs. So you get to taste income, relationships, sports, hobbies, doing things on your own. Like I said, getting a driver's license, having your own car, or if you don't have your own car, being able to like maybe being able to go up and do things. You can do that as a high schooler. And now everything that you were wanting to experience as a middle schooler and maybe even in grade school, you finally get to do. And that's that little taste of adulthood that gets you hooked on wanting to do things on your own. So yeah, high school stage, man, like it's just the best time in life to have a little bit of that adult experience without having the adult responsibilities. That's definitely up there. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of aspects about high school that I miss. High school was great to me. Middle school, that's the one that I can leave behind forever. But I would say the worst thing about high school, the worst thing about high school, I think the worst thing about high school is that when it comes to like doing things and going out and becoming your own person, the worst thing is that you also start to feed off of those around you, and you start to actually care about what's going on the outside. Because I'll tell you right now, grade school, middle school, yeah, you might run into the occasional kid that doesn't like their life or doesn't have a good situation going on or just has a lot going on in their mind and life or whatever. However, like in high school, that's when you see like, you know, the people that start to get like anxiety and get depressed and just get into their head about so many things, because high school is when it hits. It's a part of adulthood when the insecurities really hit. Because like you can have insecurities in middle school, but like at one point in middle school, you almost have like hope that you glow up in high school, or hope that like this is gonna go away. High school, along with people starting to get a taste of that adulthood, it's almost starts to give that like permanent energy, or I guess starts to really hit you as far as like, oh snap, like this is how I'm gonna look, or this is what's happening. And you start to overthink things, dive too deep into things, take things too personally. Like high school, man, the hormones and emotions that go through high schoolers is just on a different level. It's like you take middle school going through puberty, and then the heat of puberty happens in high school, and all those peak emotions is a lot. For me, high school was very balanced for me. I'm not gonna lie. I like to say that I was pretty. I mean, I've been told I was mature a lot for my age in all wakes of life, even as a young adult. So I think that managing those emotions and navigating through high school as a growing man it went pretty well for me. There's a couple of things that I definitely would have rather have been more educated in or more well versed before I hit adulthood, but I enjoyed high school. The next subcategory is college. College, the best thing about college is that the full freedom of it, because you are an adult, especially if you like lived on campus. Now, mind you, sometimes it comes back to bite you in the ass, like, you know, taking out student loans or however you needed to pay for school. But as far as just the living experience of the college life, full freedom, you do whatever you want. You're on your own time. It is a double-edged sword. So while you have all that freedom, it can come back to haunt you if you don't manage yourself wisely. However, that freedom is intoxicating, and I think that I won't say I didn't have that similar taste of freedom in high school, because if I did say that, that would be a lie. However, I think that with the level of responsibility that you have in college versus high school, and the amount of, I guess, the amount of hard work that you have to step up and actually implement into your schedule, your school life, maybe work life or whatever in college, is something that I wish I would have did differently. Because high school, yeah, I had that freedom, but because high school was still so easy to me, especially with the school aspect, I never really had to buckle down, study hard, do all that. I really didn't. But college is a different story, and not to say that college is like was that horrible. Hello, Lonnie. Hey, what's up? What's up? Thank you for joining the live. Filming a podcast episode right now. I'm paying a lot of attention to my TikTok live, but I didn't forget you guys were there. Now, the worst thing about college, I think I've already kind of mentioned that, was low key. I think that it goes hand in hand, bro. Like the freedom. I think the freedom is like that double-edged sword, where it's the best and the worst thing about college life, because there's and a lot of times there's no one really to hold you accountable for what you're doing in college. Like, you mess up in college, that's 100% on you. And unless you have like parents like mine that were like really, really heavy, like not sticklers, but wanted updates on how you were doing and wanted to see about like what you were doing in college and how you're doing in classes, and are you going to class, are you getting your work done, stuff like that. Yeah, they can get on you and ask questions about that. However, they can't force you to do the work, or they can't like put you on punishment or nothing like that. Like, the repercussions to what you're doing solely land on you, and you're the only one that can make or break that. Whereas in high school, yeah, that technically is still true, but like, in high school, your mom would be like, all right, I'm gonna put you on punishment until you get your grade up, take your phone away, take this and that away. In college, there is none of that. So a lot of those repercussions, they don't really hit until it's too late, until you fail the class, until something's going wrong. And by that time, you didn't have anyone but yourself to sit you down and be like, all right, let's get disciplined. So, kind of screw yourself up. And then I would say the last subcategory for stages of life is the adult life. So like after college, work, career, stuff like that. I would say the best thing is, I would say that the best thing is that, kind of piggybacking off of college, is that level of freedom. However, this time, that freedom and your ability to do your own thing is all in the real world, because everyone has different college experiences, whether they like lived on the dorms or lived with roommates or lived with their parents and still went to college. Once college ends and you start your career and you go out on your own, like, that truly is the essence of being a fully functional adult in society. And I would say in that sense, the best thing is definitely still that sense of freedom. Being able to do the things that you want to do, make your own time, make your own money, make your own decisions. I would say the worst thing about the adult life is bills. I didn't really even have to think about that. Bills, dog. It's self-explanatory. Most of you listening, you know what bills are. You know what you got to do to make sure that they, are taken care of. And they're annoying. Wish they didn't exist, but they have to exist because, well, we live in a world. So yeah, I would say those were my stages of life subcategories. My next main category for the highs versus the lows is gonna be love. Not as many subcategories as stages of life, but love had a few categories that I wanted to talk about. There's only one category here that I am not personally experienced in. However, I do have ideas of what it would look like for myself, and what I expect from something like that. So, stages of life, love, being single. So, being single, the best thing about being single is that you don't have to worry about anyone else. You don't have to worry about no one's feelings, no one's expectations, no one's demands. You don't have to worry about none of that. The worst thing about being single is I don't want to go with something as shallow as being lonely, because I think that people should learn how to be alone sometimes. However, I think the worst thing would be lack of true companionship. Because I feel like being lonely is just, I don't want to be by myself. Like, I want to do things with other people, blah, blah, blah. And you can still be single and not be lonely and go out and do things with other people and, constantly do stuff. Hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Um, and I say lack of true companionship because, like, I think that's what makes a relationship worth it. Having a companion that you're equally yoked with, that you love, that will do anything for you, and vice versa, you do anything for them. Having such a relationship is it's just a thing of beauty. It is. And not being able to have that sucks, especially for those who are romantics, people who believe in love. I'm talking to the people who really believe in love. Now, the second subcategory is dating. The great thing about dating, I think, is that it's fun and exciting. Dating is fun and exciting for a lot of reasons. Now, mind you, the phrase "the dating pool has piss in it" is a true phrase in my opinion. I don't jump at trying to date any person that I meet or find attractive. However, I still have my fair share of realizing that there are people that I should stay away from, or like, might go on a date with someone and it's just like, yeah, this is not it. And maybe people have had that same thought about me too. I haven't been, really sought after like that by everyone I've went on a date on. So I almost know for a fact that's a couple of reactions that I've most likely had with other people. But dating is fun and exciting. I think the worst thing about dating is that it can feel like a waste of time sometimes, like a big waste of time, especially if you constantly are going out with similar people. And when I say that, I mean like people that with similar personalities, similar traits, similar habits, similar thought processes, especially important ones. Ones that will really make or break like relationships and stuff like that. Because, dating, if you're not on a specific type of time, or if someone is like putting on a facade or showing a face, then it can end up as a waste of time. And that is a scary thing. So, dating around is good when you're trying to figure out what you want. And yeah, it can be very fun and exciting, but also it could be quite discouraging, especially if you keep striking out. So high about dating, fun and exciting. The low about dating is that it can be very discouraging and time wasting. And then next subcategory, relationship. The best thing about relationships is building towards a future with someone that you love. I am personally a hopeless romantic, so to me, there's no better feeling than being with someone that you're realizing like, oh, I could go the distance with this person. Having someone to treat as, your woman, and then having that woman give you the same treatment and being like, yeah, that's my man, that's my king, that's my queen. We run shit together. We're gonna do this together, and we're working towards basically a forever. That to me is the best thing about getting into a relationship. Being someone's man is working towards that. And I think the worst thing about relationships, I think, is low key. The worst thing is the pressure. And there's not a specific pressure that I'm talking about, just pressure in general. Because you have pressures, being an adult, in the world, paying bills, making sure things are taken care of. I was about to say forbid you have kids, but like, even if you have kids, that adds another pressure onto you. And then just being in a relationship, there are pressures with that. There's pressure of keeping your partner happy. There's pressure of making sure that you're moving in a way that doesn't make them feel disrespected or unloved. And then there's also the pressures of, hoping that your partner gives you that same respect, hoping that your partner doesn't lose that interest, that spark that you guys had at the beginning when you were dating, and starting out in your relationship. As years go on, as you invest years into a relationship, I won't say the pressure increases. It does, but it's not like as years go by, you're not feeling more and more weight on your shoulders. However, there's a lot more at stake with mistakes or things that could possibly go wrong within a relationship. Because, think about it. If I'm in a relationship for 2 weeks and, my girl cheats on me after, going into week 3, that's not going to hit the same as I'm in a relationship for 2 years and going into our 3rd year finds out she cheated on me. It's two different things. It's two very, very different things. So like for me personally, as that time goes, I like to say that I don't lose that puppy dog stage if I'm in a relationship, because especially if we were both each other's number one option in dating, and then we got together, I'm not gonna lie to you, that spark, that the way I see you, the way I look at you, that's not gonna go away. I promise you, unless you morph into a whole different human being, either physically, mentally, or both, then that's gonna stay there. However, it's just as you go on and as years go on, you guys take on more things as a couple. You guys add more things to your plate. You start to, just basically start to build on that. And the thing about it is, the more you build, the more things can come crashing down as something happens. And that's that pressure I'm talking about. So yes, I would say the best thing, building towards that future with someone that you love. The worst thing is the pressure of losing that. And mind you, for me personally, and I don't want to sound cocky, saying this, but I don't think I would have a problem I don't have a problem with that pressure. I actually invite that pressure. I do. Because honestly, to me, if you're in a healthy relationship, there's not a lot of cons. There shouldn't be a lot of cons in a healthy relationship. There shouldn't. So not saying that the pressure is a really, really bad thing. It's just, I guess, the most uncomfortable thing about a relationship is that pressure. And then the next subcategory of love, relationships, or not relationships. I just did that. Marriage. Now that I'm not, too experienced with it. I've never been married. Plan on it, but never been married. And I think that the best thing about marriage is that it is that's holy matrimony. You guys become one soul under God. You give vows and you pledge to give basically your life to your partner. You pledge to become one, and y'all are a unit, a single unit. Not everyone's going to look at marriage the same way. Not everyone does look at marriage the same way, which is sad because, marriage is a specific construct, and it comes with specific promises and specific, I guess, marriage has rules. Marriage has things to abide by, and a lot of people don't do that. They either forget them or they kind of just shrug them off. And that actually irritates me to my soul. I remember I had a conversation with someone who talked about marriage, and marriages with between atheists, right? And I made a comment saying that I don't understand why atheists get married. And then someone said, why? Why would you say that? And I was like, the only thing that marriage would gives atheists is tax breaks. Like, that's the only thing it does for atheists, because marriage is a religious construct. It is born from religion. Because what do you do when you get married? You go in front of an ordained priest, or at least someone that is certified to basically, what's the word? To marry a couple, someone that's certified to marry a couple under God. You give vows. God is literally in the vows. Like, it's, till death to his part. Like, it is in front of God, and that is the whole purpose of marriage. And I don't know, it just didn't make sense, or not didn't make sense, but it's just one of those things where, like, the only thing that I feel like an atheist would gain from the marriage is, like, just the written government tax IRS aspects of it. Like, that's it. And mind you, if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to get offended. I'm by no means, this little explanation of me not understanding it is not me being offended. It's just me saying that, like, there's really just no reason other than taxes for atheists to do that. But yeah, that was my little spiel on that. And then the last one is more of a fun one. The last main category is sports. Sports, I broke it up into a few categories, but we can, go through it. So the first subcategory is playing sports. The best thing about playing sports is playing sports. It's fun, competitive. I just enjoy the just energy of sports. I enjoy the energy. It's a good way to stay in shape. It's a great way to meet people, to form bonds, to form friendships. I tell you right now, a lot of the friends that I have made have been through sports. Sports or school. School or sports. And half the time it went hand in hand. Some people, because one of my closest friends, his name is Nick. Actually, Nick and Cambrell, they're kind of like in the same like boat, as we went to school together, but we got close through sports, and then after that we just became brothers on and off the court. Sports does that. It gives you a sense of camaraderie. It gives you a platform to build relationships. And the worst thing about playing sports, I would say, is injuries. And not just like major injuries, like, oh, I broke something, I tore something. Like, dude, like look at my arms. Like, my arm skin, I have so many scars, so many actually recent cuts and stuff like that, like all over my arms, because for one, people don't know how to cut their nails. I play basketball mostly, and I don't think I've played ball in like the last 2 months without bleeding somewhere. Like right now, I don't want to just like lift up my shirt, but there's a scratch going like diagonally across my stomach that happened through my shirt, dog. Like someone scratched me through my shirt. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Sports. Next subcategory is watching as a fan. I think watching as a fan, the best thing about it is the entertainment value. The best thing is entertainment value, especially, if you're really passionate about the sport you're watching. And what's crazy is, even if you're not, because like for me, I'm not that passionate about football, but I really enjoy watching football. And yes, for any Europeans or foreigners that might be watching American football. But yeah, like, I'm not passionate about football, but I love to watch it. It's fun. It's exciting. It can be exciting, especially like if it's a rivalry game, or if it's just like two really good teams going head to head. Like, come on now. And the worst thing about watching as a fan, unnecessary stress. Not gonna lie. Especially if you have a favorite team that's doing something, or has the ability to risk it all, win it all, lose it all, whatever. Watching professional sports it doesn't literally like stress me out to the point where like I'm pulling out my hair or anything. I'm not that crazy over it. However, it's kind of funny how watching sports has given me more butterflies than I'd care to admit. More moments where I'm sweating at the edge of my seat, like, Jesus, man, like, what's gonna happen? I'm almost like jumping out my seat in just nervous excitement or just nervousness in general. And I'm just like, why am I like this over a game that does not have any effect over my life at all? Like, whether this team wins, whether this team loses, has nothing to do with me and my life. It doesn't. And like, the only time it does is if like I bet on it, and I don't do that too often anymore. But still, like, yeah, it's unnecessary stress. But, you know, I think the benefits are worth it. So whatever. The next one is very similar, but I said watching loved ones. And the reason why that's different is because it's a very different energy. Watching as a fan, professional sports, is for the entertainment. Watching loved ones, family members, friends play their sports, I think that the biggest high is, yes, there's entertainment to it, but the biggest high is seeing you be like the coaches at the football games. Exactly. Like like seeing your loved ones or people that you're close to play sports, do good, especially, it gives you a sense of fulfillment, a sense of pride and happiness. Not only that you're witnessing your loved one do something dope or like have fun and do well, but you're also seeing them happy for themselves, and it gives you a different feeling. So yeah, there's entertainment, but there's also that kind of like, I love that they're enjoying themselves. I love that they're doing well, and that's a whole different experience. Now, the worst part of it is not so unnecessary stress, because I tell you right now, watching a loved one play sports, because you want them to do well, and because especially if it's someone like a sibling, a younger sibling, someone that you're really close with, and someone that's not only are you close with, but they're passionate about the sport they're playing, then a loss can hit so much more than if you're watching a professional game, because they're gonna go on with their lives. They don't give a crap what you think or how much you care about what they're winning or losing or whatever. But that loved one that you are close with, that actually has an effect, and that can carry over to, just your everyday life. So, yeah, that's the not so necessary stress is the worst thing about it. The next subcategory is winning. So the best thing about winning is obviously winning. It feels great. It's wonderful. It's what you want to do. I mean, sports, it's all about competition. And what's crazy, it's not even sports. Like anything where the object is to win whatever you're doing, winning feels good, feels great. You want to win. Yes, everyone wants to win. So the greatest thing about winning is winning. The worst thing about winning is, I think, to me personally, inflated egos. I think that and this is, I guess, an in general and personal experience, because I have had an inflated ego before. I'm human, I like to be humble and modest, and especially with sports, like, let my game do the talking. I really don't trash talk. Like, if I trash talk, it's because you started it. Someone else started it, and they're going OD. And if I basically am in myself to put you in a position to where I'm like, yo, you ain't it. Like, you talking all that stuff, but I'm sitting here like schooling you, then yeah, I might say a couple of things. I might do a couple of things. I might give you a couple of looks. All the above. However, I think that especially if you're used to winning and you're winning a lot, I think that sometimes it can really get to your head, and you can get yourself into a very comfortable position. And that comfortable position starts to affect your performance. And when I say affect your performance, not saying that like, oh, because you've been winning you start slacking or whatever, or that can be the case sometimes, but once you start winning and get that inflated ego, you get a big head, you're like, oh, nothing can stop me now. Not gonna lie, that next loss is what's gonna hit you hard. It's what's gonna hit you hard. And also, I think that if you are constantly winning, it definitely puts you in a place of complacency, to where maybe you feel like you don't have to work that hard. Maybe you don't have to really like sit down and study things or get better. Sip or gulp? I'm a sipper. I hope that's what you're talking about. Really do. I don't know. You never know with some people that make some very interesting comments. But yeah, like, you know, it's all about it's all about having a humble approach to certain things. Like, there's a difference between confidence and cockiness. I'll never be cocky about something. Now I might do it jokingly, but like as far as like me being serious, I'll never be like, oh yeah, like this shit's in the bag. Like, come on now, like, you know, it's me. Like, we do this. It's never not gonna be like this. Like, I'm not gonna have that attitude, but I'm gonna be like, you know, I know that, like, say basketball. Like, I know I can hoop. I know I can hang with you know, some real hoopers, and I know that I'm not no scrub. But I'm not gonna sit here and like go into a gym full of anyone and just be like, yeah, man, I'll dust any of y'all one-on-one right now, blah blah blah. Like, no, I'm not like that. And the last thing is the last subcategory is the high and low about losing. The best thing about losing is growth. I've had plenty of moments in other episodes where I talked about losing and failure and stuff like that, and how like failure, like, you have to fail. You're going to fail constantly. There's no way you can live on Earth without failing multiple times. But you're never a failure until you give up. Failing and being a failure are two completely different things. And so being a loser and losing, same concept, basically same thing, just different word. Best thing about losing is growth. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from what happened. You find things to work on. You go back to the drawing board and you know, rinse, wipe, and repeat. And anything, I mean, shoot, all of life, not just sports, is all about growth and learning and doing it better next time. You know, you can't be a functional human in society if you're not willing to learn and grow from something. And then I would say the worst thing about losing, I would say would be confidence. It strikes the self-confidence. Losing, and depending on how you lose, how bad you lose, what led you to losing, whatever it is, it can take a hit to your self-confidence, especially if you keep losing. Like, if you're constantly losing, like, over and over and over, then you start to wonder, like, yo, like, is this sport even really for me? Like, am I actually even good at this? So, you know, that's one of the worst things, but I think that there's a balance through there. I think that the best way to go about it is to realize that you're not at a certain level and to work to get to that level. Like for me, I'm not delusional enough to still believe that I can try out for the NBA and make it. No, not gonna happen. I'm not that good. And what's crazy is, even if I get to the right skill set, I don't have some of the latent talents that a person of my size, stature, and ability would need to even like thrive in the NBA. I just don't. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. It's reasonable. However, if I go into some random gyms for some pickups and I get my butt handed to me, couldn't hit a shot all day, I'm not going to go home and be like, man, I'm a scrub, I suck, like I can't do anything. No, I'm going to just be like, all right, well, I'm going to figure out why I couldn't hit a shot, or maybe it was just an off day, and come back and do it again. So yeah, you got to have that balance. You got to be able to realistically break down what's going on and how to go forward with that and where your potential lies. I don't mind being a little reasonably delusional. Like, my reasonable delusion is I believe that I could get on at least D3, maybe up to D2 college team, and I can actually like do work on that team. D1 is pushing it. I do want to believe that I could be like a really good like off the bench player for a D1 school. If I really worked at it, like if I really got into like crazy shape, practiced day after day after day after day for like a good minute, I believe that I could like be of an asset to a D1 team. Now, do I think that I'd be starting for Duke? No. Nah. I don't think so. But you know, at the same time, like I have a little bit of confidence in my ability to do something like that. So yeah, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, like, you know, I could start for Duke. Like, come on now. Be real with yourself. I'm real with myself. However, I do think that yeah, I could walk onto like a D3 or D2 team and actually be I could actually do work there. Like I said, I would just have to get myself in like really good basketball shape and just practice a lot, but I could get there. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. You know, went through stages of life, love, sports, all things that, you know, I'm passionate about. And I actually feel like this went pretty smooth. I thought that I was going to struggle a little bit with like some of the highs and lows in certain areas, but I think this went pretty well. I'm going to work on trying to, you know, make more fun episodes. The next one, I actually have quite a few ideas on how to kind of switch things up, so I'm not doing the same thing over and over again. But this was cool. I think that it turned into more of a philosophical talk than I was expecting, which I low-key should expect that, given how I really like conduct my episodes and just like the little tangents I be getting into. I'm glad I stayed on topic. This actually turned into a longer episode than I was expecting it to be. However, yeah, like I said, I think I really like this episode, and I think I might do something like this in the near future. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to my viewers on TikTok for sticking around. I actually got quite a bit of likes on this video. It shows that you guys are liking what I'm putting out, and I'm gonna keep that up. Once again, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Like I said, it doesn't cost you anything, helps me out. Be very helpful. And yeah, that basically sums it up. I want to work on being a little bit more consistent with getting out multiple episodes a week. So definitely look out for that. I talked to someone earlier, and I think I'm going to start really sticking to a schedule. Oh, appreciate you. And just making sure that I get out consistent content, and stuff that, you know, people of course want to enjoy. I know that it can get a little drag, me being on this podcast by myself, but like I said, I have ideas, keeping you guys posted, some new content coming for sure, but I'm not going to keep ranting like I usually do at the end of these videos. So you guys have a wonderful night, day, whatever time of day you watch this at. Just enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, I will see you guys later.